In 2024, each of you will be looking for a new niche for business. Some of you already have a business in Poland, but you would like to have several projects, while others are only planning to start one, perhaps currently being employed. Choosing a niche, choosing your new business is very important because it is a way for you to reach a new financial level. It is a way for you to do what you love. It's an opportunity to enjoy life and earn a lot of money. For the past 3 years, we have been recording, or symbolically concluding each year, ideas for business in Poland for the next year. And now you will see these videos here in the suggestion. You can watch them, by the way, either below the video. This year, instead of giving you fish, we decided to teach you how to catch this fish. And instead of ideas for business in Poland, we will share tools, techniques, approaches, tips for analysis and selection, business niches in Poland. That is, we will teach you how to choose a business in Poland, some idea independently. A few more words on why this is important. Firstly, it often happens, and right if you are that person, that you don't choose the niche, but the niche chooses you. This is the so-called accidental niche. That is, you were doing something, a friend came along and said, hey, let's do this. And now you've been doing something for 3, 5, 10 years that perhaps no longer brings you joy. Sometimes it happens that you worked at a job, you somehow outgrew it, and now instead of working, you're doing the same thing, but in a business format, and you also feel that something is off, you don't like the market, the clients, the average check, and so on. Therefore, it's important. You want your niche not to be accidental, but you want your business in Poland in 2024 to be a deliberate decision. Secondly, choosing the right niche and the right market gives you a very simple opportunity to simply work less and earn more. Moreover, these two sliders can be maximally in different directions, meaning you can work as little as possible and earn as much as possible. And it is precisely the choice of the right niche that allows you to achieve this. Thirdly, as I mentioned, it's the enjoyment of the process. I don't know which of these is the most important, but enjoyment is definitely important. You have the opportunity to choose not what you need to do, but what you would like to do. In this video, let's figure out how to do this correctly. So let's delve into the approaches. I have compiled a selection of various approaches for you and methods on how these niches can be chosen. And the first method, the first technique, yes, is your immediate environment or the resources that are around you. Around you are your relatives, your friends, your acquaintances, your partners, contractors, and possibly clients. These are all people who are engaged in something, and this is a resource that you can use. You can form a partnership with them, perhaps an acquaintance has access to certain suppliers. So your first task right now is to take paper and pen and write down the entire list of such people who potentially have some resources. And here it's not about taking these resources, but about conducting an audit and thinking about how to use them in collaboration. Second, global market trends. Currently, there is a certain state of the market here in business. In Poland, construction was popular, for example, and it is still popular now, but the market is changing slightly. Let's say 5 years ago, there was a big trend for employment agencies, meaning hiring 200, 300 people for your company and selling their services at a higher rate, hiring them and paying them 30 zlotys per hour and selling them for 35 zlotys per hour. In other words, there are certain market trends that can be capitalized on. Think about what trends are currently present in the market. The third technique that I generally try to practice once a year is the Ikigai technique. Here you can see an example of this technique, which consists of 4 circles. What you like, what you love, what you enjoy doing, and what people are willing to pay for. Where there is a market, and by filling out this entire technique, all these 4 circles, you can potentially come up with and combine a niche or a new direction for yourself. Below the video, we will leave a link to Ikigai, to this exercise, where you can get more detailed information about it. And the fourth such method, an approach to choosing a niche, is your personal expertise in something, including leveraging certain resources or partnerships with someone. Well, for example, I will speak for myself. I have expertise in creating businesses in Poland, in taxation, in understanding the Polish market, even the Polish mentality, and so on. How can this be used? There are people who want to enter the Polish market, and we can collaborate with them, some kind of collaboration, partnership. Next, I have expertise in creating niche YouTube channels, small channels that allow for the promotion of boutique agencies, boutique companies, including our own. Perhaps I can produce someone, or maybe I can create a new next YouTube channel in some niche replicating my success. I have the opportunity and some skill in public speaking. This can also be utilized somehow. That is, your expertise is your resource that can be transformed into some niche. If you know how to do construction, then please, it's logical to engage in construction. But don't look at it head on. Think about what other angle you can approach it from, and Ikigai will help you with that. And by the way, if you need help with registering a company or an individual entrepreneur in Poland with accounting or with business consultations in Poland, you can contact us. Below the video, you will find all the necessary links. We will be happy to help you. Now let's deal with the selection criteria. Niche. If before we discussed approaches, let's now discuss the criteria. What are criteria, signals, important points to pay attention to in order to work less and earn more? And the first criterion is a large market. For example, construction is a large market. Real estate is a large market. Cryptocurrency is a large market. Taxi, and delivery. Something is a large market. Transportation service is a large market. Yes, these are examples of such large global markets. In turn, the development and production of glass tables. Look at how the niche immediately narrows down. For example, the production of clothing for a specific dog breed. I don't know, Rottweiler? Yes, so we narrow it down even more. But this list can go on. Think about which market your niche is in, how large that market is, and if you don't know whether it's large or not, at the end of the video, I'll provide tools on how you can check this. So is it large or not? 10,000 searches per month to buy clothing for dogs? Is that a lot or a little? At the end of the video, I'll provide an answer to this question. Next, is it a growing or declining market? I'll also give you tools at the end of the video, but generally, markets have some cyclicality. That is, a market can either grow or be relatively stable, but most often it either grows or declines. Also, think about it, it's even intuitively clear. A currently growing market in some direction or it's declining. For example, the market for various eco products is currently growing, eco carpets, clothing, and everything else. The market for various personal coaches and training is growing. So these are the big segments. But that's the first thing that came to mind. The next thing is a high average check. Think about it. You can provide a service or sell a product that costs, say, 10 zlotys or 50 zlotys. You can do something where you charge 5,000 zlotys or 5,000 zlotys, maybe even 500,000. And possibly the actions won't differ much, meaning it will be the same. The same actions to sell for 50 and for 500. Therefore, the average check is also important. Fourth, standards, rules, and regulations in the market. There are markets where everything is so regulated that you can't come up with a new service in this market. You can't significantly increase the average check. For example, in Poland, all financial services and most intermediary services between a person and some organization, bank, leasing company, they are regulated. And they operate in such a way that the compensation, I, as an intermediary, do not take from the client, but conditionally from the bank, or from the company, or from the state, or from somewhere else, yes. And this is an example of a niche where there is a sort of ceiling that you can't break through due to the technical rules that exist in the market. For example, Uber partnerships, yes, they were once popular, they still exist, but the market has changed. Uber pays the partner. about 50 zlotys per person, conditionally yes, and that's it, you can't charge the person. You won't be paid 5,000 zlotys per person, they pay you 50. Well, you can make 500 people or 5,000 in a month, that's your problem, but they pay you that much and won't pay more. This is an example of a regulated niche. There are other examples where this doesn't work. For example, renovations. In renovations, if you're skilled, you can sell a custom kitchen to someone for either 50,000 zlotys or 150,000 zlotys. Using certain materials, a personalized approach, and so on. The question arises, okay, everything's great, nothing is clear. What tools exist? How can you practically grasp this? How to understand if it's a growing market? How to understand the market volume? How to understand the average check, and so on. I also provide you with a number of tools. The first technique, ask your friends how they buy such a product and for how much. Well, for example, do you want to get into manufacturing? Kitchens, yes, or furniture? And ask all your friends how they do it, how they encountered this problem, and how they solved it. Ask how much they are willing to pay for such a product. By product, I mean both goods and services. And how much they eventually bought it for. For example, a person might say that I am ready to buy for myself to furnish a kitchen for 150,000 zlotys. And how much did they actually buy it for? Well, for 30. And it's made of chipboard, so you can poke a hole with your finger. Therefore, ask the right questions. At the very least, how much are you willing to pay? And how much did you actually pay for that product or service? This is a great technique that is very sobering, especially if you have some new product or an interesting idea. Secondly, it's about how to check if there is currently a trend, whether this market is growing or not. There is a tool called Google Trends. Now on your screen, you see an example with our niche, yes, and you can see how trends and queries are changing and the demand for this niche, for the niche called company registration in Poland. You can see how it changes, and in principle, you can establish some cause and effect relationship, yes. When the full-scale invasion began, the market changed slightly, and this is reflected in the graph. Try entering your query, what you plan to do, and see if there is any seasonality, if there is any trend. Purchase, a consultation from experts in this market. Our clients often do this, buying a consultation with us, but you can buy a consultation in any niche. In any niche, there are some experts where you can buy time for money, and usually it doesn't cost as much as you think. It might cost something like 300, 500, I don't know, 1,000 zlotys, but it will supercharge you or allow you to make the right decision to buy a consultation from competitors. You won't believe it, but there are competitors, your future. They might not even know that you are their competitor yet, yes, and you can simply buy a consultation from them, which might also cost relatively, like $100 or $200, but you will get the expert opinion of someone who is truly in the market. And lastly, do this. Analyze demand on the internet using more technical tools. Here you need to, of course, look online to see how it works, but I'm giving you 4 tools that will help you in your work. And you can see them on your screen right now. The first one is Serbstat. This is our Ukrainian service from the guys, a great tool that we have used ourselves. It allows you to check your competitors, enter them, see where their traffic comes from, what the traffic structure to the site is, how many people visit them from social networks, and so on. The second is SimilarWeb, a similar tool set, but it is displayed differently and priced differently. The third is Ahrefs. This is more for SEO metrics. Again, check how many people visit the site of your potential future competitors, through which key queries, and roughly estimate how many clients or leads they get from this site, with what average check, and understand how much money they earn overall. And lastly, this is also an SEO tool. This is SEMrush, also a tool for SEO. In summary, below the video, you will find all these links, plus a link to Google Trends and a link to Google's Keyword Planner, which is also a free tool where you can enter key queries and see what demand there is for these things. How else can you analyze the market? It's with the help of a simple, very basic tool. Really, guys, it's entering into Google the queries you want to work with. For example, buy furniture, buy, I don't know, a table in Warsaw, yes, there. If you know Polish, then in Polish. If your market is Russian speaking or Ukrainian speaking there, then in that language. And submit a request to competitors and communicate with them. Talk, listen, pretend to be a client. Our competitors often do this. They submit requests to us. We do this too, and it's a completely normal practice. That is a little bit to check what is happening in the market. Friends, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and write your questions in the comments. What else are you interested in learning, and wishing you good business in Poland? If you need help with company registration, opening NP, and for accounting, also write to all the links in the description.